Hi everyone, it's Sherry from Sharebee, and today I am going to give you day number 2 of 100 ways to motivate yourself. So if you're following this journey, I'm referring to a book, hi Holly, called 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself, and it's by one of the men I study in my life coaching journey. His name is Stephen Chandler. And yesterday the topic was day number 1 was about how to get on your deathbed and kind of start a new goal with the end in sight. And incredibly powerful. Assuming it's something that you need and your spirit is kind of looking for coaching in that area, it's going to speak to you. Today's is really hungry. I don't think it's appropriately titled, but I understand why they got the title. And today I'm going to read it to you a little bit more than I did yesterday because it's really cool. So today, number 2 on ways to motivate yourself is called Stay Hungry. Now, this one is really cool because it gave a really good life example from a movie star. And so it was about, sorry, I'm 45, I need my reading glasses. It was about the author doing an interview with Arnold Schwarzenegger before Arnold was big and, is much of a movie star as he is today. So it starts out with saying that Stephen Chandler at the time, before he was a noted author, was he was this huge newspaper writer. I don't know. He was a writer for a newspaper, and he had an assignment to go and spend a day interviewing Arnold Schwarzenegger on the heels of Arnold having just done a movie that I've never even heard about with Sally Field and Jeff Bridges called Stay Hungry. And at the time, the author, when he was interviewing Arnold, he'd never heard of Arnold. This was like in 1976 or something. He'd never even heard of him, so he had no idea who he was going to go talk about or going to go talk to. And Arnold's movie had just flopped. So the inspiration that we're drawing from and Stay Hungry here is from somebody who just failed. So it goes on to talk about how he pulled a nugget out of Arnold. So I'm going to read it to you. So here we go. So the author says to Arnold Schwarzenegger, now that you've retired from bodybuilding, what are you going to do next? And with a voice as calm as if he were telling me about some mundane travel plans, he said, and this is in Arnold's voice, I'm not going to attempt to imitate him, I'm going to be the #1 box office star in all of Hollywood. Now you can imagine, this guy's reaction because he's never heard of this guy. He just had a movie and it completely flopped. And he's this big beefcake and he thinks he's suddenly going to become this huge movie star. So, so he finally asks him, how do you plan to become Hollywood's next top movie star? And Arnold said, it's the same process I used in bodybuilding. What you do is you create a vision of who you want to be, and then you live into the picture that as if it were already true. And he goes on to say, it sounded ridiculously simple, too simple to mean anything, but I wrote it down and I never forgot it. I'll never forget the moment when some entertainment TV show was saying that the box office receipts for Arnold's second Terminator movie had made him the most popular box office draw in the world. And he goes on to ask, was he psychic, or was there something really to his formula of creating a vision? Over the years, I've used Arnold's idea of creating a vision as your motivational tool. I've always elaborated on it in my own corporate training seminars. I invite people to notice that Arnold said that he was going to create a vision. He did not say that he would wait to receive a vision. That's huge. Create a vision. Don't wait to receive it. You create one. In other words, you get to make it up. A major part of living a life of self-motivation is having something to wake up for in the morning, something that you are up to in life so that you will stay hungry. I mean, think about that for a second. When you're taking a trip or you're planning a trip, you're motivated by it. Like you're looking forward to it. And sometimes we find ourselves like on the monkey bars of life we kind of don't get excited in life unless we're looking forward to something. So we're kind of blue when something ends, like Christmas. Christmas just ended. So a lot of us might be a little bit blue because we're like, oh, I worked toward it. We'll create a vision for what's next. It doesn't have to be the next holiday, New Year's Eve or whatever. You can create it. The vision can be created right now. Better now than later. You can always change it if you want, but don't live in a moment longer without a vision. Watch what being hungry to live that vision does to your ability to motivate yourself. Okay, so yeah, that's awesome. If you let it be, that's awesome. This morning while I was kind of meditating on this particular lesson, I thought about how, I do this on a daily basis. And again, this isn't about me. This is me sharing you 100 ways to motivate yourself, but I do this on a daily basis. I envision rather, how I want my day to go. So I take it on a smaller scale. I envision, what by the end of this day, when I go to bed, what do I want to have accomplished? How do I want to make the people around me feel? Do I want to go to bed, with a day that just kind of ran without a plan, or do I want to plan my day? And I plan my day based on how I want to feel at the end of it. So I create a vision for the day. And how I've done this in the past too is, I'll give you guys a good example. I created a vision last summer, or maybe it was 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Some friends and I, we did a race. I don't remember what it was called. Maybe one of them will chime in and tell me. It was motivated by wine. So at the end of it, we got to drink some wine. But I was terrified to do that. And I found through my coaching that where there's fear, you're supposed to run toward it, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to run in the direction of what scares you, because that's going to bring the most out of you. So we were going to run this race. Oh, it was called Vino and the Beast. Vino and the Beast. So we were going to run this race, and I was terrified to do it because I'm not a runner. Okay. Number one, if I run, I've had 3 babies. I'll wet myself. Number 2, I don't like to sweat because I don't look pretty sweating. So I don't want to sweat. And number 3, I don't like to do that, but it was something to do with my friends. And I thought, you know what? I need to do this. I need to do this. I'm going to grow from this. I'm going to grow through it. So the morning of the race came, and normally my anxiety would have gotten the best of me, and I would have been anxious. I probably would have been cranking at my kids. I probably would have been irritable toward my husband. But no, I got up, I sat quietly with myself, and I set the vision for the day. I imagined myself showing up in my tutu, in my little Supergirl shirt, because we all had matching uniforms. I envisioned showing up, being a cheerleader for myself, being an advocate and a cheerleader for all my girlfriends, letting them know that they could do it, and knowing that this was not a race that my life depended on. This was a race that was going to stretch me, and I was going to have fun doing it. And I set the tone right then and there. And so I said, okay, that's going to be later. I have a vision for how that's going to be later, and I'm going to make it come to be. And so I did it, you guys. That's the first time I used vision practices and techniques to actually live out my destiny, as opposed to how I normally did things. I broke my own cycle. So I went that day, I got my number, I put it on my shirt, I met up with my girlfriends, we took pictures. I wasn't happy because I didn't feel like I was in my physical best shape, but I didn't care. I had a great time, and I actually lived out the vision the way I had seen it in my mind's eye in the morning as I set the stage for the day. So there's some real power here, and I say that only because I've experienced it. And as a student going through this with you, I'm going to leverage it in my daily life. I've got some New Year's goals. I'm going to start implementing it. Day number 1 was all about get on your deathbed. I want to see 2018 from the end of the year's perspective. And now with the second one as being how to stay hungry, which really it is, create a vision for the reality that you want. If the reality that you want is not one that you have, be very brave. Dare to dream of something big. And when you think you've dreamed of something big, dream of something bigger. And if it scares you, you're on the right path, just like the race scared me. So put some thought into that today. See how for 2018 or for the rest of your life, how you can start reverse engineering it. see it at the end how you want to be when you get there, where you want to be, who you want to be, and then figure out how you're going to get there, and then break that down into daily chunks. So today, find ways that you can stay hungry and create a vision for your life. Have a good day. Bye.